Also für mich bedeutet das eigentlich täglich mit
My job means working through death and what dying means to us humans. Through this, I've come to understand so much more about life. There she is.
My mom.
Birgit Scheffler is an undertaker. She sends people off on their final journey and offers comfort to the ones they've left behind. As the corona pandemic drags on, she tries to accomplish the seemingly impossible, to be close to strangers in their most difficult hour while staying at a safe distance. Candlelight helps create a subdued atmosphere. The mask is a precaution. Birgit Scheffler and her co-worker Sarah Ratgeber prepare the body to be laid out in the casket. In Germany, this is the undertaker's task.
Such long hair. Amazing, isn't it?
After suffering Alzheimer's for years, this woman passed on, aged 95, in a nursing home in Berlin.
We'll freshen her up a bit for her final journey. Sarah and I always wash the body, often together with family members. Then it's like giving them one final loving caress or one final loving gesture. We clean and dress the body and give them a farewell touch. There have been times when the family left behind did so much we would just stand back and provide little assistance. It's always so touching when that happens.
But the coronavirus pandemic robbed many people of this opportunity. In many cases, those left behind were only allowed a final glimpse.
If she had died of or with Covid-19, then of course we would have to take more precautions. Then we'd put on smocks and wear not only masks but also goggles and protective visors. And then we'd have to take extra care when moving the body. The primary danger comes from the air that might still be in her lungs that could escape. There's really quite a lot to consider.
Of the deceased they've prepared this winter, Birgit says 1 in 5 had the coronavirus.
It's quite rare that we dress the body in undergarments. But that's all she had. From wedding suits to soccer jerseys, we've seen everything. I often wonder, was she satisfied with her life? If you were to ask her now, was she happy? Or might she have done something differently if she could decide all over again?
Not long ago, Birgit made a life-changing decision. She gave up her position on the board of a media outlet and went into business for herself.
Safe travels.
The change came as quite a surprise to Birgit's family.
The first thing I did was tell my husband. And his initial reaction was very calm and collected. But today, looking back, he admitted he thought nothing would ever come of it. He thought I'd forget about it in a few weeks, like a crazy thought that never lasts. But he was wrong.
6-year-old Mita sees her mum's profession as a normal job like any other. Death is no taboo in the family.
My daughter knows what I do. She knows I'm an undertaker. And she also knows for the most part what that means. But it's not the main topic of conversation at home these days. It's completely normal, just like with any other profession. Sometimes we talk about it and sometimes we don't. It always comes up when she sees a little animal that's died. A little bug in her preschool or a dead bird. Then she'll say, Mum's got to come and bury it.
No, the others always say that.
The others say that? All right.
I know you're only an undertaker for people.
Okay, good.
When Birgit was 27, her mother died suddenly without any previous illness. She was 60 years old. Her death and Birgit's experience with the undertaker back then still affect Birgit in her work today.
Ich habe damals einfach die Erfahrung gemacht, wie es
I saw for myself what it was like back then, when from one day to the next, without any warning, you find yourself having to part with someone very close to you.
einen dir ganz, ganz nahen Menschen verabschieden zu müssen.
At the time, we got run through a process more or less passively. Nobody really actually was there to help us. It was all quite run-of-the-mill. That time should have been more comforting for us. And that's why I'm trying to do things differently now.
Birgit and Sarah started their funeral parlour in the midst of the pandemic, a relatively uncomplicated process in Germany. The Fair House, or Ferry House, offers custom funeral concepts tailored to individual requirements. The two women often accompany the family members for several weeks, doing what they can to help them through difficult farewells. That's not customary for the business, and Birgit's services cost a bit more. But mourning family member Henny Koch appreciates all she does.
Can I get that for you?
Yes, please.
Henny Koch's mother passed away a few months ago after a long illness.
I think it turned out beautifully. We had it branded. I think it's so beautiful.
Henny's mother was cremated, like most deceased Germans. Henny designed the urn herself.
They do everything here with so much love and care. They really think about how to make this process as bearable as possible. How can they bring a little joy to the mourners? How can we connect better? It's a good feeling.
There she is.
My mom.
We'll place her in there.
Perfect fit. If I weren't such an environmentalist, I would have laid one last cigarette in there. But I couldn't do that to the environment.
Henny's mother did not die of COVID. Still, even at her farewell, the pandemic makes itself felt. The big wake won't be taking place. For Henny, it just makes the burden harder to bear.
It's so sad that I have to call all my mom's family and friends before the funeral and tell each and every one of them that we can't hug at the cemetery and that we'll all have to wear masks. We'll have to postpone that for when it's safe to gather again, sometime in the summer, I hope. That makes me so sad. An embrace would bring us closer together, and to be able to take someone in your arms and receive comfort yourself, it's such a shame to have to miss out on that.
The funeral's to be held the following day. Since the mourners won't be able to eat together, she packs lunches for everyone.
At a cafe, we could have just reserved a table and taken everyone there. It would have been easier because we could have spent more time together that way. But a lot of love has gone into this.
But not every problem caused by the pandemic can be solved as creatively.
Such simple things as shaking hands, or even just reaching out a hand. Sometimes I take the hand in both of mine when I see that someone is struggling, and I hug them really tight and look deep in their eyes. I miss that. I long for the day when that's possible again.
But nobody knows when that day will arrive. Birgit has to take things as they come. That too is something her profession has taught her.
To me, my job means working through death and what dying means to us humans. Through that, I've come to appreciate so much more about life, and I think I'm much more able to enjoy life. There are so many things about life I couldn't truly grasp until now. This truly is not just a profession. To me, it's a calling.
And her life's work begins where another life ends. The day has come when Henny's mother is to be buried.
Today is another corona situation. Some 50 people wanted to be there for the burial and at the wake afterwards, but only around 20 are allowed into the chapel. We'll open the doors, we'll have loudspeakers outside and a microphone set up inside, so the ones who have to stand outside will be able to listen in. Just let me take a quick look up front to see if the corona list is there. I'm sure it must be.
The social distancing rules allow no more than 20 people in the chapel at a time. The other mourners will have to listen to the ceremony over loudspeakers.
I'm excited. It's just about to start, and we've had to set up quite a lot in a relatively short time. And it's a live situation, so everything that works, works, and everything that doesn't, doesn't. We can't repeat anything. Ow! That smarts, ow. 7, 8, 9... 2 chairs. Chairs! I need chairs! Once everything's set up, I'll calm down.
They had just half an hour to decorate the chapel. Sarah and Birgit have some helpers to make sure it all goes without a hitch. Henny gets to see the results first.
It looks great, doesn't it? Now we'll light a few candles so it looks even better.
It's so wonderful to see how many people have sent flowers. It's so incredibly beautiful.
In between the speeches, music by the Torterhosen and the Beatles blasts through the loudspeakers. It's a memorial service that's not just sad, just the way Henny wanted it. Henny can take fitting leave of her mother, and Birgit is glad that everyone is happy.
The tension is gone, and now I can breathe a sigh of relief and happiness that everything worked out so well, and the feedback was so positive. Many people said that's exactly how she was in life and that she would have loved the service, and that's great. That's the nicest feedback you could ask for.
Birgit Scheffler, undertaker, MC, friend in need, and shining light in times of darkness.